Okay. I suppose I'm live. This is different. Let me check something real quick. Yes, I am. I'm live. Okay, everyone. So let me close out of all of this. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I thought this is mostly just an experiment to see about being live. And I thought there was an option to see, like, chat or something like that. But let me open this up in another window here. Using streaming software. That's true. And if anybody is chatting, I can't see it because it's not popping up for me. It usually has a button that does that. I don't do this very often, so this is more a point in just kind of seeing studio mode. I guess that's what I want. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, anyway. I wanted to look really quick at Kickstarter today. So we're just going to go live here. And there are a lot of 3D printing Kickstarters that have come out today. My email has been just full of back another project buy, back another project buy, back another project buy. And so I wanted to point some of those out for anybody. Like, I haven't even looked at this one yet. 3 days left. Let's open that up. Modular windmill. This is one of the ones we definitely want to talk about today. This just went live. I actually missed the stream there. So I wonder if... Hold on, let me... If I do this... This is one of the ones... Let me mute this. Oh, wow. Yes, I am. Hi, Beetle. Sorry, trying to figure out how this works. Okay, so we definitely want to try out this. I thought it was easier to do this live than to just go through. I did want to check out Legendary Heroes 4 as well. Book of Fantasies popped across my feed as well. Yeah, I would normally be working at this time of the day, too. Sorry. Yes, we're kind of doing this on the fly here. You can see several things here. Yeah. And I'm kind of watching myself here to see if I can figure out what I'm in. Through the Swamp. I always like Badgers and Burrows type stuff. Timeless Realms 2 looks like a bunch of AI art. That always kind of worries me a little bit. PrintAQuest, I thought was interesting. We'll look at it really briefly. And 3D IP Studios, they usually do pretty good work too. Darkshire, I want to look at them today. OgreRollers, I haven't even looked at this one. This is a new one on me. The Little Big Army is Claudio Casini art. I want to pick them up as well. 3D printed knit and crochet tools. So very interesting there. Heroes of Eldengard looks a lot like other creators there. But let's look at, we want to take a look at the pay what you want. I also wanted to point out L-shaped ruins. Medieval architecture, succubus, nameless spell. There's Dakka, which we've looked at before. The name escapes me at the moment. Sorry about that. There was... Dakka just came out with a couple, and I wanted to look at that. Warscream Forge. That's Soul Good Studios is right there. Ooh, we cannot do Serenissima Obscura. STL Miniatures, their Kickstarter. Wow, there's a lot out here, folks. Wasteland Wars, that hits the Trench Crusade, folks, it looks like. Dinoworld Orc Star. And these are only Kickstarters. These are not, there's Heroes and Beasts. Legion of Bones, we'll check that one out too. Wow, we got quite a bit here. And there's so much more that I'm just glossing over here as we go about this. So, Gotham City Sirens, Pin-Up Girls. I'm a Batman fan, so let's check that out. Where Legends Fight, these are all expired. So, like I said, Dakka has just come out with Torquemada's Inquisition. And there's another one that they just came out with as well. Hold on, let me do some research real quick. This one, NexusBlock Terrain. I need a link. Sorry, I'm multi-tabbing here, and luckily this is working out, so let's do that. All right, so let's start with this. This just went live. Dakka's NexusBlock Terrain Volume 1, modular terrain for anybody looking at Trench Crusade. Early birds at $29 if you're interested in that. So let me actually minimize so that I can watch. Corvus should be in there somewhere. Yep, Corvus is right there. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. So they're showing you here, as that almost looks like stormtroopers to me, in the trenches there. And if you want to sell it, wow, that's quite a bit of a merchant license there. Some craters, so some pretty cool stuff, and it comes from Dakka, so you know the quality's there. And of course, there's some of the Gothic ruins that you can put together in the corners. And again, how much was that? Early bird is $29. And it doesn't seem to be a limit on that. Some people did do that. So, yeah. This is Aether and Alchemist. I'm not familiar with this creator. 3 days left to go. White Dragon. All in for tribes only. You have to be a member of Aether and Alchemist. I'm going to have to look up that tribe and add it in. $12 for an all-in model. We have a free Dragonborn model. And we have a white dragon. And looks like they've got some stretch goals that probably have not quite been reached. Where are they at on the actual campaign? Yeah, they haven't gone very far with it. But a really cool white dragon nonetheless. This is the one beetle that you were asking for. And this is probably, definitely check this out. I personally missed the early bird on this. And this just launched this morning. I think I was around backer 50 something. And this is 68 backers at this point. So here is UnderNidus District 28. And this is by Corvus Games Terrain. And Corvus Games is pretty much one of those that if you see them, you need to back them. They typically do these on a 3-inch cube system, which means they're really good for Dead Zone, if you're familiar with Mantic Games' Dead Zone. And so perfect for sci-fi skirmishes or games of gang warfare. One easy pledge level, and they have really good stuff. I've printed out several of their pieces. I need to print out more of their stuff. Actually, I probably need to get my printer running right now. And you can stack it as high as you want. Looks kind of like the stacks from Ready Player One, doesn't it? But they're just showing how all these fit together in this case. So they have some single cubes. They have some double cubes. They do some quad cubes. Do they have any of the L-shaped in this one? Sometimes they do L-shaped. And they do have some free samples if you want to check out the samples. And those alone are worth going to check out. So I would definitely check out the samples there. Oh, that's true, Beetle. Thank you. And I say Dead Zone, but Halo also. Mantic has this for Halo. And, of course, these would fit very well for any type of board you want to fit for that. I do forget that Halo is a thing. So we have sample buildings here. Sample layout using, just core set buildings and tested stretch goals. So just to show you what they all look like. These are great pieces. The buildings fit together very well. They stack together. They're very simple. And just amazing pieces. And actually the fact that these are on a 3-inch cube system makes me feel like, actually I'm going to switch gears here for a second and go back to myminifactory.com. Oh, by the way, Cast and Play has Endless Vault launching 10 days from now, so be sure to check that one out. But I do want to pick out a Majestic Highlands Dungeon Blocks XL. I've already backed this one, and their system is also, I think, 3 inches as well. Each block is 10.5 by 10.5 centimeters, and what is it, 2.5 centimeters per inch. So, that's roughly, what, 4 inches maybe? So maybe not quite the same scale as Dead Zone, but still the 3x3, worth checking out. And for me personally, looking at this and watching how these fit together, I really like seeing all the different little scenes that they've put together, the little dioramas. It reminds me a lot of watching like an isometric game like Final Fantasy Advanced Tactics. So these might fit. I actually have printed off a tile. I guess I should probably go grab it and measure it, but I'm not going to do that while I'm live. We're just going to kick out of it real quick. So anyway, there is that. Let's go back over here to this one. Again, I would definitely back this. 35 bucks US, 30 euros is definitely worth doing. I'm not doing the merchants, but Legendary Heroes 4 is being created by Lucius. So some very nice diorama style models. Dragonborn character, and then some alternatives that you can get as well. So they've still got the early bird up at $13. Only one left, and you get all 3 characters there. And then they have some additional ones that you can get too. Book of Fantasies 3D printable book covers. I thought this was really cool. I just can't see how useful it would be for me personally. That's not to say they're not. I mean, they've got pretty much everything. They've got, you want Viking, you want Hobbit House, you want Pirate, you want Sauron, you want 4 houses representing, Harry Potter characters, basically steampunk. These would definitely be worth that. They do still have the early bird available at 26 bucks. And they have an early bird commercial that seems to still be available too at 54. And these are lifetime rights. So these would probably be very interesting, especially if you wanted to go into a vendor style. Being able to print these and then resell some books with these over top of them. Yggdrasil. So, I mean, I have a Viking convention that happens pretty locally to me. So, being able to just sell the Viking pieces alone, the skull and so forth, and then the others as well, that might be worth it. Might be worth it for me if I want to go that route. There's sci-fi, there's Templar, elves, science. I'm a science teacher, so that's kind of a no-brainer there too. And they've got they've got a couple extra add-ons as well, and then the book nooks and such like that. So definitely interesting there to look at. Through the Swamp, I feel like we looked at this before, or maybe I've just glanced at it. So La Louve 3D, there seems to be around 19 bucks for this. So you get a couple of Sahigans or Murlocs, some dragon turtles, some raccoons, rabbits, squirrels, characters, and a couple of Smurf houses, basically, mushroom buildings. There is a free spider STL that you can get as well, and just kind of cool, nifty looking things. Again, I'm a fan of Brian Jacques. The Breadwall series, Burrows and Badgers, is supposed to be a really great game. I do own the book. I have never actually sat down and played it, but these would be some models that would probably fit along well with that. I think I just clicked something accidentally. Yep, I started up PowerPoint. Didn't mean to do that. Let me close out of that. PrintAQuest is very unique. $5 for the dungeon tiles. All the STLs for $15. And these print out. They actually come with miniatures that you can print as well. And you can, sorry, I'm kind of scrolling past this really quick. So you can build up the little dungeon, you can move the characters along, and you can play in this place. I think I saw a video of someone doing this where apparently there's some Braille involved in this too. So, Darkshire Chapter 2. Now this one just launched this morning as well. And again, I think you should check it out. Are they out of the early birds already? I managed to grab an early bird, but yep, the earlies are gone. 18 bucks. But the Darkshire 2 alone is $21. So I mean, it's only $3 savings from that. And just, I really like the look of this. Now, they did do a previous one. The previous campaign was around 50 bucks. Change this over to live chat just in case somebody says something, but I've never been big enough to matter. But just some very nice models and some streets here that go along with this. Kind of Victorian. I backed this one. And they are printing off some of the previous ones. The first Darkshire campaign, I did have to go back and look, because you can actually, and they've got City 8, that kind of looks cool too. They did do a early back bundle where if you want to get the first one as well, it's about 78 bucks, and that's because the first campaign was around $50. But the first campaign just seemed a little busy to me. You can actually, they've got this new tab on Kickstarter now. You can go to Creator and see the previous campaigns. So, and just, it's extremely busy. Now, I could probably see this for like Frostgrave or something like that, where you're, fighting in city ruins, kind of Mordheimish. But it's just extremely busy going on. I don't dislike that. Let's see. Rust Beetle says, it's surprising me how many Kickstarter campaigns there are for 3D printing. I would have expected most of them moved to MMF when I think the fees are less and they have built-in distribution for files. You would think that, wouldn't you? And I think what a lot of them do is they go to Kickstarter and then they do a second campaign on Frontier. I've noticed that several times. So you can kind of do two birds with one stone. And it's just, there really are a ton. There's no way I can cover every single 3D printing campaign. I'm not even going to try. OgreRollers, I like the look of these. I really do. And do we need more dice towers? The answer is probably yeah. Yeah, we do. So the Trio of Titans, you get about $6 to get all of them. Lore Keeper bundle is $18. So you get your previous campaigns. And then the Overlord license allows you to sell these guys for 23 bucks. So, and then a Master Forge license would be for everything they've put out. Grobnar the Stubborn, Varkish the Fumin, Morkjaw the Rot Eater. I mean, these are impressive dice towers, in my opinion. Yeah, ain't much to say much more to that. One downside to live stream formats, you don't have the links available to follow. No, I don't, but I will add those after the fact. I will add the links afterwards. The little big army, that's why I'm not closing out the tabs, so I can do it afterwards. Little pro tip I've taught myself. So this is by Claudio Casini art. I think I actually backed this one because 12 bucks is not bad, and I really do like Claudio Casini. I'm not a huge halfling person. I have a bunch of friends that are, actually. They love playing D&D campaigns of gnomes and halflings. And but they got that. Actually, while I've got this open, let me open up another tab. There is another one. I want to move this right here. Go back to Kickstarter. There is Buttertown that just launched as well. And I know it's a weird name. The Townsfolk of Buttertown by Hayland Terrain. Hayland Terrain has this campaign out. And Hayland Terrain does great work as well. So you can get certain groups. And you can get all characters for $33. I think these are for actual, so full set is $61. And these are actual miniatures. These are not 3D printables. But I'm not necessarily about 3D printing always. I like the miniatures and such. I feel like I'm just yammering on here. We've gone 20 minutes. Sorry, folks. Medieval Town Set 15. So this I'm almost these are almost always an insta back for me. $18 for about 3 buildings, and I have actually printed out one of their buildings before. I need to get some paints and actually paint it up and see if I can make it look worth anything, or if I'm just going to have to realize that I don't have no painting ability whatsoever. I'll be here all weeks. I'm not a huge halfling person. Oh, I see what you're saying there. I did not comment. I did not mean it that way, but I see what you did there. I'm not a huge fan of halflings. It's not to say I dislike halflings. It's just I don't obsess over them like others do. Luxorum Cottage. I like the cottage. And then they have some stretch goals as well. The Village Gatehorn, that's pretty cool. And Steeple Lodge. Yeah, I always like what who is this? 3DP4U does. L-shaped ruins caught my eye. This one launched this morning as well. Like, I kid you not, there were easily half a dozen campaigns that were Kickstarters. And this one took me a minute to understand exactly what they're doing here. So you can get, for $11, you can get a L-shaped ruin pack, but you only get it for one style. And they have about 7 styles available. Full biome is, again, one type of style. For $14, you get those. The ruin pack times 7, if you want to get everything, you're going to spend $35. $35 is all of the styles, everything that's available. And you can see here all the different styles that they have. And the best way to do this, so basically the idea is, rather than keep printing the same thing over and over again for different styles, you print these once and then you interchange them. So here are the styles right here. Sorry for scrolling so fast. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more to kind of illustrate these. So here we have Voltria, which seems to be kind of a steampunk, industrial style set. Here we have Fragrance, and I would call this just classic modern. This is kind of your brick buildings and windows setup. Here we have Military, which seems to be like bulkheads, like you're building up a base. That's what you've got going on there with Military. You have Kenan, which seems to be very Egyptian-inspired, kind of Stargatey a little bit. Here we have Mirian, and I don't know, is the colors? It reminds me of the Ocean Monument in Minecraft with the colors. And so I feel like that's kind of Atlantean or something like that it's going for here. Maybe Aztec, Mayan or something. Outpost. This one also seems to have kind of an Aztec vibe to me, personally. Also kind of steampunk, or maybe even cyberpunk. So Outpost is, maybe like a sci-fi outpost, I would say. And then Tinkyo is, got a little bit of Oriental flair, but again, a little bit more cyberpunk as well. So definitely interesting to check out. A little bit different than a normal set. And so a full biome is the L-shaped ruins, 300 modular buildings, a WTC table, and lots of stuff to print out. And these things can be printed either resin or FDM. And they show that right here, that you can see you can print everything in resin if you want. You can print everything in PLA if you want, or you can print some in one way and print some another way. And $35 is not bad for all the options that you get with this set. It's a lot. Grandiose Grimdark Terrain. So here's, again, compatible with Trench Crusade. I saw Trench Crusade, and I know that's a big hot topic for a lot of people. I feel like it's starting to die off a little bit. But what is it? $30 for the Grimdark Terrain, $30 for the modular, and all in is $45, but only for their subscribers of Soul Good Creations. $55 for anyone else. And Soul Good, I think their tribe is only $5, if I remember correctly. So, but they have some very detailed trenches here. These are nice diorama pieces, really. The enemy too put up their dark shrines, their very presence desecrating the land. Heretic traitor left for the crows to devour. A hanged witch still screaming her defiance, despite being dead for hours. And a few miniatures as well, some battle priests. So definitely worth checking out there. Very detailed models. STL Miniatures, I'm a big fan of. Raphael, or the creator of STL Miniatures, has his hands in a lot of pies. And Serenissima Obscura is what we're looking at here. And so they have already passed the early birds, sadly. I think there was an early bird. Wasn't there an alert? Yeah, limited all in. Or limited. No, maybe there was not an early bird. But 46 miniatures, complete set. I love charts like this that kind of let you know where should I go. I back STL Miniatures, so I'm not interested so much in the add-ons because those are just coming from the campaign. But you have Neome, Gorg, Malice, Baba. And these would also be good for anybody, I think, that does like a Cthulhu-style campaign. That looks really sweet. Talking about the Trench Crusade. Trench Crusade's not dying out. Very swamped at Adepticon. Apophis, I'm assuming you're talking about the Trench Crusade. I'm a little bit laggy, apparently, so I apologize for that. But I was going to say, anybody that does Cthulhu or anything like that would probably find well with this. Tachuala, so kind of like, what would you call these? Sawhagans, Fishmen, Mermen, the Worms. Okay, thank you. I'm a little bit ahead of y'all. It's very off-putting. I'm not used to doing this. So, the Monster Under the Bridge, the Warden, the Shadow Warriors. Yeah, the Trench Crusade that we were looking at is a little bit on the pricey side, in my opinion, but at the same time, it's good work. It's really nice stuff. The Abbess, Stupor Magician, Worshipper Nun, Lords of the Arsenal, the Stone. So this is a little bit different from STL Miniatures' normal work. Doge, Leonardo Loredon, Senator, Zachariah Contarini. Whoops, sorry. The Voidie Children, Tentacles from the Mist. And then they've got some stretch goals as well. Merfolk. That's probably a better way to put it. Yep. There's so many different names for that. Like, I mean, Warcraft called them Murlocs, and I've also heard Sawhagans, and there's another, or I'm probably mispronouncing that. I feel like there's another one or two as well, but the Patron, the Amulet, or the Nihilist, San Michel's Monk, the Plague Doctor, Mutated. What is that? A cat crab? That is. Wow, that stuff give you nightmares. And then they go through all the add-ons, which I'm not going to scroll through here because I don't like for these to take too long. But I appreciate y'all actually watching and putting up with me here. Wasteland Wars. So again, this kind of fits the Trench Crusade style. This is interesting, though. It's a 1:12 scale model, so approximately 180 millimeters tall. So these are more figurines as opposed to like miniatures. Bithring the Unclean, Letho Grey Wolf. I may have mentioned these before. Raven Sky, because sometimes I look at these things. Scarlet Viper, sounds like she ought to work for Cobra with a name like that. Steel Prism. The pyramid on the head is a big theme. Kirk Shadowbane. That name sounds familiar. Blaze Rocket with the hyena. And some paid add-ons as well. So very cool miniatures. Kind of Wasteland. Maybe not Trench Crusade. Maybe I misspoke there. This is more Mad Max than Trench Crusade. But I could see where these could get adapted into that as well. Selkie, that's another word. Yeah, there's some other. I feel like there's a couple of different D&D races that are mermen. Dinoworld Orc Star, they seem to be doing back-to-back campaigns at this point. Dino Orc that you see here, they kind of have a Star Wars theme here. You can see with the cape and the insignia. Let's zoom in just a little bit. The big arm, again, the insignia here. Here we see kind of like a Velociraptor, Tauntaun, and again, the tanks. I may have had these in my video before, but now that I'm thinking about this, I forget which ones I do and I don't do, but I like repeating some of them sometimes. Legion of Bones. This is by Heroes and Beasts. So 115 skeletons at 32mm scale. $35 for the standard pledge. Early bones are gone at 25, but these are just really nice skeletons. I think it is a reference from President Evil, but I've seen a lot of the pyramid heads in the Trench Crusade figures, and I don't know, maybe I just need to break down and get the Trench Crusade book and see, but it feels like there's a lot of that being used in there too. Kind of cartoony. What are these? These are supposed to be trolls. Wretcheds. Bare bones. Yeah. So some skeletons, if you want to print those. I can't imagine those are the easiest things to print. Maybe not so much for the kiddos. I'm not exactly. I probably should have pre-done this, but let's see. Catwoman 7. So you can get all of them for $14, and they got 9 more left out of 75. So there's classic Selena Kyle, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and of course Harley Quinn. And just some nice clean figures if you can print them up and so forth. And so some of these are a little bit more not safe for work down here, but these are not necessarily they're just great figurines. How do I feel about early bird tiers? I like early bird tiers, but I like them the most when I get them. I feel like if you're going to do an early bird, it should be a time-based early bird, not a slot-based early bird. Kind of like how Dungeon Tiles had like a 72-hour early bird. Because that's kind of my personal thoughts. And then Torquemada's Inquisition by Dakka. This just got released today as well, June 3rd on Kickstarter. Let's see, early bird is $49. And see, this is a good example of where I don't think you don't see the of such and such left. It seems to be time based. And then you can get a physical pledge as well. That's interesting. So Torquemada's Inquisition, Cortez's Commandant, Cortez's Conquistadors, an Inquisitor, Torquemada's Priest, Jala de Castigo. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one. Conquistador Bombers, Heavy Support, Vanguard. These are really cool models. I don't know they're my thing, but... And then if you get the physical models, that's what you get. And then they talk about the shipping for that. So, very interesting with all of that. Let's go really quick and look and see about any Frontiers. I'm already 35 minutes in. Dungeon Block XL, WTC, Foldable Terrain, Remnants, Animals, the Goblin Cave, only $9. Let's check that out. Especially considering Printing Goes Ever On this month is going to be doing, I think, Goblin Town or something to that effect. It might be worth checking out. The Siege Mortar looks kind of cool. Check that one out too. Myth Explorers, Classic Monsters. We've looked at some of these. All-Star Project, American Civil War. The Mythic Lich, or Lick. June 5th, 2 more days till Rescale Miniatures does their Tale of Archduke Malson. I'm looking forward to that personally. Not looking forward to the price tag. I'm already spending too much money. Hello, Overboard. Welcome aboard. Every time you say the Inquisition. Deep Scale Diggers, Lizard Folk. Heirs of the Sun. So this one comes June 20th, and apparently this was the set that they started off with at White Angel. Deep Scale Diggers, Heroes and Beasts, Xeogenesis, launching May 29th. Aren't we past that? Interesting. And then apparently Taranwyth, that should be launching today, but I think that launches on Kickstarter. Or is that already launched? I don't think it has launched. I get so mixed up with some of these. And these are ones that are done. So Goblin Files, you know, some islands and such, and then you can see the goblins on the side. So their goblins are a little bit more squatty. Kind of reminded me of the original animations of like The Hobbit, kind of, sort of. And then the Siege Mortar, I just wanted to check that out of curiosity. Early bird tier, $6. Or full set for $24. So if you need some more tanks in your life. Well, I think I'm going to get ready to quit out on y'all. I probably have bored you enough this afternoon, and I appreciate those of you experimenting with me on this to see how this works. So here's Taranwyth. Yeah, definitely can't escape without mentioning here. River buildings are $42. The village is $46. The shrines are $51. Specialty buildings. Wow, we are all over the place here. All in on the buildings are $164. $205 for everything. Miniatures and buildings is $246. Or $388. I'm so confused with the wow. I just got done looking at Archvillain Games Kickstarters. I'm back to previous product of theirs. I just can't bring myself to get their terrain. I have so much terrain for miniature land. The fear of missing out would be my problem too. And I agree with you. I own so much stuff from Printable Scenery and everyone else. I love Archvillain Games and what they do. But wow, this is pricey digital files. These are pricey digital files. And I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say that on a stream, but wow. Water Shrine, or see, I don't care about the shrines so much. They're pretty cool. Gatehouse, Artisan's House, Blacksmith's Forge, and 2 hut freebies. Plus all the unlock stretch goals. A bridge, a river outpost, a water mill. So you basically get 3 buildings. So the all-in buildings is all of these. Yeah, Printable Scenery is great. They do a lot of really cool stuff, and there's lots of others out there too that do amazing things. And I have resisted the urge on Miniature Land, but they do a lot. You get a lot for your a lot of bang for your buck with them. Yeah. Archvillain, I wish you the best. I can see you're already 17,000. You've already hit your goal. This is beautiful terrain to look at. This is true. If you can comment on death tiles being great for $6, 300 is a bit too much elsewhere. Now, granted, death tiles is tiles. It's not a full-blown building. But there are other campaigns that we looked at even today where you get several buildings for a much smaller price tag than what you see here. I've printed a couple of printable sceneries stuff. Like the Hagglethorn Hollow, I finally broke down and printed a couple of those things, and that was pretty cool. But I will put all the links to these. I'm going to go through. That's why I've left all the tabs open so that I can go in and I can add all of the tabs to the description of this video. And in fact, I'll get ready to go do that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and stop streaming, and thank you for watching this stream. I was thinking, you know, I really should find a day of the week and say, you know what, I'm going to log on at this time once a week and just talk about the live Kickstarters and Frontiers and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the thing or not. I probably shouldn't even put that thought out there, but my problem is figuring out what day of the week is I can do it consistently and do it such. So I don't know, maybe it's a thought. But thank y'all for coming on and watching with me here on my live stream. And I will be getting to work pretty soon on the June review #1. I would like to actually get that out this week, but I'm not going to make a promise. We're going to try to get going sooner than later this month. But yeah, I'll see y'all soon. Thanks for watching.